Welcome to Washington East to West Sports. This is episode 147. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside, as usual, by Sean Beatty. Kevin Erdahl will be here in a moment. If you want to subscribe to us on YouTube, comment in the comments, talk about the topics we talk about on Blue Sky. I'm at Master B. Sean's at Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is Emerald Bowler on X. Sean's Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is C to Believe, SEA to Believe on X. Boy, what a Sunday. What a weekend. And let's talk about the Seahawks. So they played against the Rams in the NFC Championship game and won 31-27. Sean, I'm gonna throw it to you first. What'd you think of this NFC Championship game?
Well, there's no one else to throw it to. So, but yeah,
I could throw it to the chair, but it wouldn't have any
yeah,
opinions. So
yeah, it has just as good of opinions as Kevin Byrne.
yeah,
It's well, I don't remember my exact score, but I think we're all 3 points. I
I was
think you
up by
picked three.
one. I went
What?
30-27. Then you said that's what I was gonna go with. So you went like 31-28. So I think you were a point off two or something like that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think we all kind of all in this ballpark. I feel like around
Yeah.
30, 25, 24-ish points. So yeah, it played out pretty much exactly. I mean, not to the play, but like we figured it was going to come down to the last possession, one score game. I think I called overtime, but like or a game winning field goal. But regardless, it basically came down to which team didn't make the big mistake, and neither quarterback turned it over, neither running back fumbled, and their kick returner fumbled. Largely that there was, a boneheaded play with a questionable flag, but a boneheaded play regardless. At one point thrown in there, that Seahawks were trying to give them advantages, and the Rams took advantage. The A flag went the other way where the Rams fans are upset, but then the Seahawks took advantage. It's like these teams, if you give them an inch, they're going to take advantage of it. That's why these are the two best teams in football, and it went exactly that way. Every time the other team screwed up, the other team scored points, and the way that both quarterbacks played was absolutely crazy. I thought it'd be the score, but I didn't know Sam Darnold was basically gonna play perfect for pretty much. Like I did not expect how well Sam Darnold actually played. I mean, me and Kevin were talking about it. I think he had one sack that I would kind of blame him for, but at the end of the day, if that's it, like even throws wise, like there's I don't think he made a decision on a throw or anything like that. I think he played pretty much perfect other than taking one sack. He probably could have got rid of the ball, but even then, if that's like your worst thing, you take a sack where you might want to not take a sack. He took three on the day. One was the last play of the game where he's just like trying to eat clock, so that's not really like relevant to actually like what's happening. And then another one he took because of the fumble and everything like that. So honestly, he took one sack that was like really earned by the Rams, and yeah, I mean his looking at his stats, I think I saw a stat that said on third down in the playoffs, his pass third and fourth down, or I think it's just third down. His QBR, again, take with a grain of salt, but still is. Do you guys want to guess what it is in the playoffs so far in two games?
I think
Scale 1 to 100 QBR.
it's probably
85.
around.
What's it, Kevin? 80?
I know I said probably about 90.
It is 95.
Yeah.
He's basically perfect on third down. And the other people who have registered that are Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Patrick Mahomes in a playoff run. Those are it. That's the end of the list. And now Sam Darnold. And it's not a perfect stat, but I'm just saying like he was very efficient in the first game. People don't understand that. And in this game, he was efficient with more volume. He's been very good this postseason. And like when we needed him, he has been there. Sam Darnold has undoubtedly been there. He took some shots in this game. Like I think I saw he also threw three touchdown passes while all of them were under pressure. So he was taking hits as he threw all three touchdown passes. Like he played perfect. He's perfect. I didn't know if he was gonna do that, but we the final score, like I said, I'll sum it up. The final score is what we thought, but I didn't know we were gonna get there from a literal perfect Sam Darnold game. He was amazing. Yeah, and the defense did enough when they needed to tip of the cap to Sean McVay knows what he's doing, and Matthew Stafford could sling it. So they're pretty good on that side too. But they did just enough to get it done when they needed to. That fourth down stop by Spoon was crazy. But like those guys, as Kevin says, they're paid to play football. They're very good. the MVP's on the other side, and maybe the best offensive coach in football is on their side. It's going to be hard for them, and they did it. So, but yeah, it was a great game, and now my heart will take 2 weeks to recover. But that's yeah. I stress ate the entire thing of cookies, an entire thing of cookies. So
What
that
kind
was
of
very
cookies?
fun.
Like the Safeway
I
sugar
dabbled
ones,
it
or
up. Sugar cookie or sugar chocolate and oatmeal raisin. I just kept going back to them. I couldn't
wow.
stop because it was stressing me out. So, and me and Kevin, we're trying to get in shape and stuff, and we have some zero sugar pops and things like that. I went straight to the caffeine ones. I went no, there's no sugar. I went 2 of those during the game. I was like, I gotta take the edge off. It's my alcohol now. The caffeine, the non sugar free Coke. I just had to get bust 2 of them out during the game. That's
Sean, you're
my
getting pretty hardcore over there with the sugar pop. Like
That's what me and
that's
Kevin do
pretty
during the
crazy.
games usually. Yeah. We're sugar-free soda guys now. Well,
Wow.
I have some regular ones just in case, like just for yeah. I saw that earlier. But yeah, usually when I get my caffeine fix, 'cause I don't do coffee, Matthew, so I gotta have one to get coffee. And if I could just do 0 calorie, it's just it's nice. So saves on those calories. But yeah, that was it. That was my vice, my Coke and cookies during the game for me and pacing. Yeah.
I mean, what a game. What a game. We all were pretty close on the score. I think Sean and I were a point off. Kevin was very close as well. The thing I didn't expect was no points in the fourth quarter, especially after that third quarter. I was like, oh, they're gonna just run this up to like, maybe 40s, like 40-38 or something crazy. But then the fourth quarter, there was no scoring, and that was kind of wild. But
Well, didn't the fourth quarter there's like 3 drives. Yeah, the Seahawks just
yeah,
punted, and then Rams going for it on fourth down didn't get it, and then the Seahawks just killed clock the rest of the way back, and that was
yeah.
it.
I said the team
So
with
it
the
just
ball
kind of
last
ended.
would win the game, but that didn't happen either. So,
Yeah, I think I
a,
said that too.
a
So
few things didn't go exactly like I thought, but offensively, I feel like everyone kind of had a moment, other than George Halani. Sorry, George. Um, actually, George had 3 catches, so maybe he had a moment there or two. But uh,
he also was good at did a good job of blocking on like he did very good at third down and all that stuff, pass blocking. That was really good by him. I enjoyed seeing that.
like, we all came into the season, we saw the move of Sam Darnold, and all of us were skeptical. I think would be fair to say.
I would
Um,
judge you
uh,
if you weren't skeptical. Like you could have some upside, like, oh, this might
yeah.
be good. But if you were like, for sure this will be great, I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like,
And people I've talked to all were kind of mixed too. It's like, oh, this could work out real well. He won a lot of regular season games last year, but he just kind of choked in the playoffs, and this was the team he lost to, and all this sort of stuff. And now I think it's, fully cemented. Of course, there's still one more game, but Sam has exercised those demons from last year and people doubting him. And, I don't doubt him anymore. Like, he has shown he can play in these big games. He can play on the big stage. He won 14 games back-to-back seasons with 2 different teams. So there's no more doubt for me with Sam Darnold anymore. There was some skepticism
also,
coming to the playoffs. I'll be honest with you. Like, I was
yeah, oh
nervous
no.
going to the
Well,
playoffs.
I don't know if there's skepticism in the playoffs. He played one game in the playoffs. Like one game sample size is not nothing for me. My
Well,
issue with
exactly.
it was
But
more
all we
was
had was that one game sample size. So
yeah, but like
that's
the
why.
whole, if Patrick get like this year, like if his first game ever was a terrible play, like I'm just like saying like your first playoff game ever is bad. Who's saying it's on you? It could have been just like snowballs. Every quarterback has terrible games. Like it's just like I want to see my question. I said before was Shula and the Rams coordinator. He'd kind of dialed them up, except for the last game when the Seahawks put up like 30 at home in the last game they played him. But the previous 2 games he had in the playoff game and the first time that they played the Rams, he had really beat up Sam Darnold. Well, now Sam Darnold's put up 30 plus points in back-to-back games. I think that one could go to bed as well. Like
Yeah,
he has shown that
yeah.
Shula does not have his number anymore. Like because that was a narrative too. It was more like playoffs. It's like that Shula guy's going to kick Sam Darnold's ass. I'm like he has torched him twice now, basically. Like, I mean, in that game where he did score 30, he did have 2 turnovers, but like they still put up 30 points in that game. Like, so I'm just saying, like, I think Sam Darnold has put that one to bed as well. I don't know if there's any more, yeah,
Yeah.
skeletons in the closet for Sam Darnold. The question for now is like upside, like how high could he go? You know what I mean? Like it's
That's TBD.
we
We don't know.
he's got the floor of like he's not a choker or whatever the fake thing is like that's gone. Like that's Stephen A. Smith officially apologized. So I think that puts the curse to bed,
I
right?
mean, that
Like
means it's over. It's
it's over,
official
right?
now.
Stephen
Yeah,
A. was like,
yeah.
I was wrong. So there you go. But he kind of
Kenneth
like
Walker
half-handed.
didn't have as good a game as he had last time, but still had some big runs. Got a touchdown.
I would I would argue he actually had a very good game.
He had a very
They
good
were
game. He wasn't as efficient. He has 3.3 carry, but
well,
obviously
yeah, but
that's,
like it's a lot of those were on the goal line work or people get in the backfield. There's that one play where I don't know if I shared it to you guys on Instagram, but like he juked. I don't know who the
that
linebacker
was
was,
the
and
first quarter. Yeah, he just stepped
the linebacker
right,
came
went the other way, and the
unblocked,
guy was
and
just,
Kenneth Walker jukes him
yeah,
out of his mind and gets like 5 yards, and it doesn't go down as a long play, but like that should have been a -3, and he turned it into 5. That's eight. Like they were pretty aggressive on they wanted Sam Darnold to beat them, and they were not going to let Kenneth Walker. That was their goal, and you could shut down a running back, but Sam Darnold stepped up, and so I think Kenneth Walker played very well with what he had to work with. I think
yeah, I agree.
because that
I agree.
touchdown that he scored, there's a still shot of him scoring this touchdown, and it is like 3 Rams in his face,
Oh yeah,
and
just
someone's like,
bounce to the
Kenneth Walker
outside,
scores
beat
on
him to
this
the
play,
pylon, and
but it's
it
like
was
for the
beautiful.
backside, they just show it, and it's like
Yeah.
3 Rams standing there unblocked, and they're like, Kenneth Walker scores on this play, and I'm like, that's insanity. Like
Yeah.
he played very well with what he had to work with. So
Yeah. Everyone had their moment. He had a couple great moments. JSN just, I mean, there are a lot of great receivers in the league, and JSN and Puka, we probably watched two of the best, if not the two best. Like it's hard to argue at this point. Like that one-handed catch that he had on the sideline still brought it in, and that touchdown. I mean, dude was wide open. So that was just a broken coverage, and he was just open, and he hit him. But
Cooper Kupp had two
yeah,
huge moments
yeah.
too. That
Cooper Kupp had
that
a couple
Thursday
big
and then the
moments. That
touchdown.
touchdown. Rashid Shaheed had one catch, but it was huge. So I mean, down the sideline, that deep ball. Jake Bobo had one catch for a touchdown because that's what Jake Bobo does. And
Mm-hmm.
then Sean mentioned they dial up the pass rush. Give some credit to the Seahawks offensive line. Even the traffic cone out there, Anthony Bradford held his own enough to where Sam had some time. It could have been better, certainly, but it
Kevin, thoughts on
yeah.
Anthony Bradford? Go.
Uh, because he was saying that he held his own out there. He did held, and he got called for it. But it honestly, Anthony Bradford, he had an okay game compared to some of his previous stuff.
Yeah, that mean an okay game means a good Bradford game though. Like good for Anthony Bradford.
That is very true.
I don't
Lucas,
think Kevin's saying
Cross,
our first
Zabel,
round pick should
Sundell,
be a guard.
all played well. So I mean, the entire offense deserves a lot of credit, and then the defense. I think we all in our predictions basically thought this was going to be more of a shootout, and then whichever defense could get a stop or two late was going to be the team that won, and that's what the Seahawks did. Because they had a good offense going. The Rams, credit because there were a lot of single coverages on Adams and Puka, which seems like a mistake. And then of course you guys mentioned Reek Woolen, who if that penalty probably a little soft, but I would certainly say it's a penalty, especially when you do it in front of the referee. And if they lose the game, Reek is probably excommunicated from Seattle forever, if that happened. But luckily, and especially after the touchdown immediately following the penalty, that just was one of the worst looks you could ever see for a cornerback. But luckily, he kind of got it together after that, and especially after being yelled at by Nick Emanwari on the sideline. So the defense did what it needed to do. I thought Ernest Jones and Devin Witherspoon both played well. The defensive line didn't really get home much, so credit to the Rams offensive line because they had a very good game. And it was tough for Leo and DeMarcus and some of these guys to get there, but overall, I thought they played well enough to win. They could have played better, certainly, but well enough to win, and that's all you can ask for, especially when that team was driving. And I think all of us may have felt that drive was it. Like if the Rams scored, there would have been
It's
time. There would have been time, but that would have been a big blow to the
I
Seahawks. Now,
will I
I would
will
have
give
say
one
that like
demerit.
Darnold would have had a shot, certainly. So
Yeah,
I'm
I will
not saying
also
it's
give
over,
one
but
demerit for Demarcus Lawrence not being able to tackle Sam Matthew Stafford running in the open field. You
on
got
the
to be
fourth
able to
down,
tackle. You got to be able to tackle 38-year-old Matthew Stafford.
well, it is tough because there are rules against tackling quarterbacks, so I get that part of it. But yeah, you're right. He should have tackled him for
You got
sure.
to tackle
Yeah.
him.
And then there were basically two mistakes that cancel each other out: the muff punt and then the taunting penalty that gave him a first down. So both of those things immediately led to points, and so those two things basically canceled out. And other than that, it was a pretty clean game. So I mean, we all thought this would be a great game, and it was. And I didn't celebrate because I couldn't tell if his knee was down or if he got out of bounds, but then clearly the knee was down and celebration ensued. So, um, you know, we all hyped this up because we went through the NFC West, but apparently Mike McDonald said we did not care. So maybe we all hyped this up more than we really should have. Kevin, what'd you think of the game?
I thought it was atrocious. I'm sad that the Seahawks won. I wanted them to get blown out by 80 points. Things along that line. No, obviously ecstatic. It should have been a little bit wider margin of win than what it was, but thanks to Rick Woolen getting caught in the moment, which, he's human. I get that. But at the same time, too, I expect that out of a rookie, not out of a third, fourth year player. But he apologized online for it and asked if people still loved him. I replied back that we do, but if it happens again, that our kicker gets a kick field goal in between his legs. Uh, yeah, because honestly, like I don't think he makes it out of that stadium alive if we lose, to be honest, because that like he'd be the main course of that. Defensively, for what we are going up against, which is essentially the best offense in the league, at the moment, is really good. Puka Nacua is a nightmare to deal with. Like as I was kind of mentioning at the game, like he has the best, strongest hands. He has the strongest hands of a receiver in the league. There's nobody else that like if the ball gets into his mitts, it's pretty much impossible for it not to be a catch. The dude just catches stuff. And then your number two is this guy named Devontae Adams. He's pretty good. And then you have a really good tight end dynamic. The hard part is that when those two are covered, if the Titans are doing anything, then it's just a fall off at your 3-4 of God knows who it is. And then, yeah, Matthew Stafford, the running backs, the best offensive coach mind, honestly, in the league. It's, what they were able to do is essentially hold them to 20 points and then give up that on a very bad play. And even Mike McDonald was saying this morning that he felt bad doing that play call. He's like, I shouldn't have put Reek in that position afterwards because he's just like that. He said that was on him, which I mean, it's on Reek, but yes, it is also, when he's heated like that and things along that line, his mind's probably not on that, and they just took advantage of it, which is what Sean McVay's going to do. But offensively for us, beautiful. You took what they gave you essentially, because I mean, K9 didn't have the crazy stat numbers, but honestly, you took he got you the touchdown, he got you some stuff, he juked the living crap out of one of their linebackers, which was hilarious to watch. But like essentially, you had stuff downfield, and Sam Darnold took advantage of it. And the difference of this game, because nothing against Matthew Stafford play his freaking mind out, like both quarterbacks did. The main difference that came down to this game was Sam Darnold was just absolutely night and day better on third down. Matthew Stafford was 0 for 7. And Sam Darnold was just amazing. I think his passer rating was like 118, something like that, 120s on third down. It was insane. And that's huge. And then the other main part that was a big problem in this game is that the Rams special teams is not good. They fumbled twice. They recovered one of them, which they got lucky. And the other one, they didn't get so lucky, and we took advantage of it. And honestly, I feel that's kind of where the tide in this game kind of turned. Was when we scored immediately after and then just had that, I think it was like an 11-point deficit, something along that line. But everybody looked good. Coop, that JSN guy, he's pretty good. Tight ends were good. Not only, even though they didn't have much in the passing game, they were blocking really well. O-line had a really solid day. Minus a couple of things like Sam Darnold getting blown up like on that very last drive literally they hiked the ball and Sam Darnold's like on his back in 2 seconds.
Well, he faked the handoff though. Like give it to Kenneth. Like
I also think maybe they thought he was going to take a knee or do like just kind of waste some clock. But
Yeah.
they just their goal is basically don't get a holding, don't do anything like penalty, don't do anything stupid, basically. But they didn't have to let him like get a free run at Sam. I
Yeah.
mean, I know they accomplished the goal of the play, but you didn't have to let Sam get blown up. To Kevin's point,
Correct.
maybe
Yeah. Don't let your
because none
quarterback.
of them engaged. None of the five engaged the guy in front of them. If you notice, they're just like take a knee or hand it off or do something, and Sam's like, "No, I'm just gonna eat this," and they're like, "Oh my god, you just ate."
Yeah. Luckily, Sam got back up, thankfully,
Yeah.
and wasn't hurt. Um, but yeah, Sam played lights out. I honestly, if he hadn't silenced the critics before, he's silenced them now. He's played very well. He's essentially, and he's actually got people kind of discussing too. Not only him, but like with what Gino did. Not saying that Gino is what Sam is. He's not. But how Gino kind of turned his career around, being in the right system and things along that line. Being, as I was kind of saying, being in a place with adults, not the Jets, not New York. Not having coaches who don't know what the F they're doing. Not, when you're in a building that actually has good coaching matters. Um, Quarterbacks can then learn and then, thrive and, having the right people to kind of, because there are going to be those superstar people dynamics that they're just going to come out of the gate swinging type of deal. But there's also not everybody takes the same road, so to speak. Sometimes it just takes longer to get down to that road. And that's essentially kind of what happened with Darnold just being put in the wrong place to where like now people are kind of questioning like, do you have to take, I mean, look at what Daniel Jones did this year, even though it wasn't near what, but still like he played better in a better system. And then got hurt, unfortunately. But like makes you think that do they have to come out of the gate swinging? And if they don't, you don't just write them off like we've done in the past with certain quarterbacks that now in the future you might want to take a chance on somebody that a crappy team like the Jets or the Browns, took and it just didn't work out like type of deal. I mean, Baker Mayfield's
I
another
think you
example.
have to be a team though that can facilitate that. How many teams can facilitate and coach up a quarterback though?
Right. What you have to also technically look into the dynamics as well, especially with draft and like not every draft's a quarterback draft, but most of the time there are years where like a team could use a quarterback and to where like you can bring on one and have kind of like a quarterback competition type of deal if you're not in the position to draft or go up and get somebody in the draft to where like, hey, is there enough talent with this guy that was with the Jets to where like now we can maybe bring him in, possibly see what he's got in a better system, better tools, things along that line. But I'm glad that you're kind of seeing that dynamic now. But
Yeah, the
sorry.
Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan method. Yeah,
Yeah,
they did.
exactly.
Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold got paid. I think to your point, Kevin, yeah, that can happen. I think the elite guys will always be elite. Maybe not from the rip, but they're gonna show you they're gonna be elite. But like those guys who you write off, you're like you can't be good. Not everybody. There's just some like Rosen is just he's just bad. Like there's guys who are just bad no matter what. But like there are guys that probably have more wiggle room in that.
Mhm.
Question is
So
how much runway do you give the guys who didn't pan out the first time? That's that like yeah,
yeah,
it's a tricky game and right now you trust a couple guys to do that like in our division unfortunately. But hey, like they go away from that team. So I guess
yeah.
thanks Kyle Shanahan for coaching up Sam Darnold. I appreciate it.
But now you're also kind of seeing that coaching is a really big part, which honestly kind of makes me question a lot of the coaching. But we'll have time for that in the future of things. But all in all, yeah, special teams.
The idea of coaching is to get the most out of your guys. I think what you're
Yeah.
saying, and that's been that way for a long time. And it's kind of my problem with Pete at the end. Like I wasn't getting the most out of his guys. And yeah, like if you're not maximizing your guy, and obviously the quarterback's like the big glaring one. If you turn a quarterback around, it turns your franchise around. So like that's obviously huge. But like to your point, if you're not turning guys that are late round picks, like not every late round pick, but some, a couple, a guy you find off a waiver wire. If none of those guys are turning into something, do you have the right staff? Like, are you maximizing things? You could have just the worst GM ever and just get terrible guys the entire time, but then a move has to be made one way or the other. Either the GM's terrible or you're coaching and not coaching the guys up. Like to Kevin's point, that one has to be made. Yeah.
Yeah.
there's
Uh,
the like scientific thing of environment versus
Nature versus nurture.
nature versus nurture. Like it's just like you know there are some who just can do it. There are others who need a little more guidance, and both work, but
I,
not everyone's the same.
I
So
think the problem is too, like quarterbacks. It's not even like teach a cat to run or teach a shark to hunt. It's quarterbacks are all different too, so it's hard because you got to find a quarterback guy who can like kind of whisper to him like, I know that everybody's different, but I can talk to this guy same as this guy. That person is so valuable that I can like
mhm.
communicate to a wide set of quarterbacks with different skill sets, like and get everybody on these things. And that's why I think I'm hijacking Kevin's point here. Mike McDonald is so good is because what he has done with Woolen, with what he was, and then now what he is now. I mean, obviously personal flags with standing, but then what he did with Nick, who's a safety slash hybrid, he turned him a third round pick into that. DeMarcus Lawrence's career has changed from this year to what it was before. Like he's done it with guys. Ernest Jones was a third round pick from the Titans that we got for him. They gave him right from a third rounder. Like he's done it to a guy at every level now.
Greg Thomas.
Yep.
Nobody,
yeah,
Like every level, he found a guy and turned them into something more than they were.
Okada,
And
like all,
so
even our
he's
depth,
turning
like
he's turning Nick and Amori into like
an
in
elite.
2 years he's gonna be a juggernaut like at this rate.
Yeah.
So it's like, and Woolen's career was like, oh, are we cutting him at this point? And it's like, do we sign him? Like the two guys, Okada, Thomas, like these guys up. Like Knight had the job, and then Thomas is like, you're just taking off somebody that nobody knew who he was. Like he's doing this at not just like I'm a quarterback whisperer. He's like every level on that defense, safety, corner, linebacker,
and
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 D line.
and Mike definitely gets credit, and let's give credit to Click Kubiak for the offense he's
Well,
implemented
yeah,
because
yeah,
the
but that was
system
that was more on the other
is
side.
working
Yeah.
incredible. Like it's just and honestly,
Clint was with
I
him
think
in
he's
San
going to
Francisco.
coach Vegas. I think he's going to go coach Vegas after this.
Well, Clint was with Sam in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah,
So I think that connection and knowing what worked with Sam there really helps out here.
yeah, and
And JSN becoming an elite wide receiver also really helps too.
yeah,
like,
I mean, moving
like
DK, moving Tyler out of the way, love both those guys, but
I, I
it
think the
needed to
unknown.
happen to let JSN shine apparently.
Well,
So
I think we all thought JSN had some oomph to him, but like him turning into this really helped Seattle. Like him turning into top 5 receiver in football was like, oh, that's very nice to stumble into. Okay, good to go.
I don't know about
Again, we talked about
stumble
coaching
into
up.
the first round pick, and he showed flash at Ohio State. So I don't think it's a stumbling at all. But
He showed
certainly
flashes,
he's
but
come
he was
on
on that.
more this year than he has previous years.
He
But
was on lower on that depth chart, even at Ohio State. I think a lot of credit also
I don't know about that. But
also goes to he was like the third guy at Ohio State. Even at his time, the issue was because he couldn't be drafted yet. I think a lot of credit goes to his growth as a wide receiver. Like he had a good skill set coming out, but was he this? His growth since he got in the NFL has been insane. I think that goes to Tyler Lockett, whoever the receiver coach is, and Cooper Kupp have helped him out immensely. Those two has turned him into
And that's
what he
not
has become.
too. Like that's actually accredited to him for like
Yeah,
listening.
no, yeah, that's like he has
It's
blown up into this.
it's
Yeah,
literally what Tyler did. Tyler got in, and
yep.
he listened to Doug Baldwin,
He got drafted as a late round wide receiver, mainly a special teams returner, is why he was drafted, and then turned into that.
Yeah,
Like that. No, it's a credit to him. Like because because Marvin Harrison and was it Olave were ahead of him on the depth chart at Ohio State,
right.
and uh, they're like, oh, he's very good too, but he's not those two. And well, his growth since being in the NFL and this year in particular has just been absolutely bonkers, absolutely bonkers. And I think coaching and JSN, because you have to take the coaching as the player. If you can't take the coaching, it doesn't do you any good. You have the best coach in the world. If you don't want to listen to it, it doesn't do you any good. So his blow up this year has just been insane.
and I think the defensive play at the on that fourth down was well executed. Because he is showing blitz, and then like half those guys drop back,
Yeah,
and Stafford doesn't know where to go with the football. Everyone's blanketed, so he picks the best option.
I think he
couldn't
just
see the other
panicked and
wide
didn't even.
receivers on there.
Yeah,
So
yeah, didn't even
yeah,
see who was covering, just threw it.
yeah,
And Spoon, he's lucky Spoon did just pick it and get a
yeah.
touchback, like let
Spoon
alone
was
drop
there.
it.
So
Like, yeah,
yeah. But also, and then after that, credit to the Seahawks offense for not just run, run, run. They
and,
play action. They got first downs. They chewed up clock, and by the time they actually had to give the ball back, there really wasn't enough time to do anything.
And that's where, and I saw this on the thing you posted, Matthew, for like storylines, and I scrolled down and I saw this. This is going to lead me to this. And I want both of your takes on this. Matthew or Sam Darnold showed his cojones on that drive. They were like, we're not running. He threw that ball like 5 times. They did not run the clock. They threw the ball with Sam Darnold. So any choke job narrative or whatever, it's over. He was like, they managed him to throw multiple times in the game on the line on that drive alone, and he delivered every single time. So my question to you guys is, from what you've seen now, and he's what, 27?
He's 20.
Turning 28?
28, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I think he turned 28 this year, whatever it is, 27, 28 season. Do you extend Sam Darnold?
I don't know. I
Because
think
Kevin, let's put
probably
it this way. Let's put it this way. He's at 33 this right now. So you can extend him now, but if he does this again next year, we're getting $50 million a year territory. So do you extend him now at a cheaper value? Have you seen enough this year and that playoff game and this playoff run to? I mean, obviously, we don't have to do it now. Hypothetically, we can see how he does in the Super Bowl. But if he has another Super Bowl game where he's this good, do you really consider extending him again?
I want to say yes. Like part of my mind comes to like if Kubiak leaves, can he continue it? But it also like he went from I mean, he did the same thing in Minnesota too. Like
He did have Kevin O'Connell is a beast as well. So, but like,
right.
yes, he did do it in Minnesota.
I think Mike McDonald's smart enough to bring in the right guy to like afterwards, if Kubiak, does get a position elsewhere, to like that will fit Sam and this offense a little bit better. But I honestly think you do, just because like you said, quarterback play is so hard right now, and I think he's shown you enough to where like even if he regresses like a little bit, this defense is still good enough to where you can still win a
And if
lot.
you extend him, it frees up money for the JSN, the Spoon
Yes.
contracts, etc. Right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
What do you
So
think, Matt?
yeah.
I don't personally. I think his contract is pretty good. He has certainly earned it, but I think you can wait a year, and do it after.
But
I
then that's the trade off. It's going to be $15 million a year more,
I
basically.
mean maybe we'll never know, but
Yeah, we will if he does
uh
this again. It's
if
going
he
to get a
does it
lot more
again,
expensive.
okay, sure,
Yeah.
but like I hesitate because I, I think a lot of the big money quarterback deals don't work out. And so I'm not saying
Which
he
ones
hasn't
don't work out?
earned it, but he's on
Well,
a 3 year deal.
I think that was the old NFL. Like, there's a middle market now. Not every quarterback
Exactly. And
sets
I
the
think
record.
he is in the middle market right now, and I think that's perfect. Like
Yeah, and
he
so
is
that's why you
not
extend
a
him
top
now.
5 paid player to me as the quarterback position.
No, I don't think anybody thinks he's top five because the
And
top four is pretty solid right now. There's no one cracking the top four. The top four is set.
so like if you're
I
telling
think
me he's gonna like I think he's gonna get extended the same amount regardless of when you do it. I don't see him
I
garnering a huge quarterback contract that is resetting the market, or even a Brock Purdy. Like I think he's gonna
do
get
If he does
probably
this again
a
next year, he's getting 45 a year. He's going to get 10 more million more a year if he
I
does this again.
I you might be right. I'm not sure it's with Seattle if that's the case.
Well,
Like
then it wouldn't be an extension. like,
yeah, exactly.
like
Like I don't I like we'll see what happens, of course, but I think he is in like the perfect tier of like he is earning his salary uh,
I would
like
argue
100%,
if he plays
and
like this, if he plays like
I
this,
don't
he's
like
underpaid as a quarterback in the quarterback world.
well, yeah, but quarterbacks are a lot of them are overpaid. So that's in my opinion. So like that's
Well,
because I think he is
that's just functionally not understanding the value of quarterbacks. But like, yeah, like
incorrect. But
I mean,
it's
like
like he is perfectly paid right now, and I think he would be willing to remain at that, depending on what else happens. I think that would be the case.
man,
All
I
right.
don't know if he's worth wants to be paid less than Geno Smith. like, like, I don't know about that.
But let's talk a little bit. Well, maybe you want to take a quick break, come back, and we'll talk a little more. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Watching East West Sports. Welcome back to Washington East West Sports. Thank you so much to our sponsors. Go ahead and blue sky at us. I'm at Master B. Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is at Emerald Bowler, which we have to acknowledge. Kevin got another 300 recently.
The only
Kevin,
reason why the Seahawks won.
yeah, exactly. That's true. That's true. So on X, Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is C2 Believe, SEA2 Believe. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell us what you think of the topics we talk about in the comments below. Give us a like. But let's go back to Seahawks, but also let's actually go back to the other game, the AFC Championship game. We will be playing the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 60 after they defeated the Denver Broncos 10-7. I was not actually able to watch this game. I was at a friend's recording music before the game. So did you guys watch this? Did you watch it? All right, Kevin,
Unfortunately,
what'd you think?
unfortunately.
Um, it was, yeah, it kind of was what I thought it would be. Essentially, that very low scoring in the first half. Um, my prediction was that it was going to be pretty much low scoring in the first half because Denver's D was going to come out swinging to try to help out Stidham because they're really, really good. And they did that. Like Denver's D, that front seven was after May. And pretty much was just blanking them until Stidham made a very, very interesting life choice under pressure and turned the ball over, which allowed them to score. Or, they pretty much were on like the 10. And my prediction was then the second half that the defense would get tired and that they would score more points, which probably would have happened had, Blizzard, not essentially came in within 10 minutes. Like, yeah, that was insane. I honestly, I think if Bo Nix plays in that game, I think we'd be playing Denver right now, instead of New England. Just because that defense they're just more run down, like because Bo Nix is built to run the ball normally himself more, to where they would have had a little bit more action in that game. And just Jared Stidham is just not a service backup, unfortunately.
His QBR was 19. Come on, man.
Yeah,
That's really good.
yeah, right.
Sean Payton told me he was really good at football.
So, if you're a Denver Broncos fan, I'm so sorry that was just really unfortunate. Was happening, like because you had a really good team. A lot of people give them as much credit as they probably deserve. Can they be better on offense? Of course, but I mean, there's no perfect team. There's always a gap and a hole somewhere. And that's kind of where it is. But um, anywho, yeah. So Patriots did enough to win by 3. And I think essentially too, like Mike Vrabel kind of saw with like the weather getting shittier. He's just like, well, we're ahead by 3, so he's like, I'm just gonna like control the ball and control the clock because I know Jared Stidham cannot take the ball down the field in this type of crappy weather unless there's just some weird fluke play. Which honestly, it was so hard. Like watching the running backs try to just gain ground with their feet being just so slick. It's just, yeah. I knew it was pretty much over unless something weird like see happen, which is possible in that type of weather. Someone can slip and fall and the ball comes out, things along that line. But yeah, so hats off to the Patriots for doing enough to get by and look forward to playing them in the Super Bowl.
Sean, I want to ask your thoughts, but I want to ask you both a quick question. So during during the season, I listen to the fantasy footballers, and they are team dome. Like they do not like weather games, and I there are weather games I do like, but for the most part, I would prefer games to be in a neutral, no weather stadium, so the best teams can play as good as they can. Are you guys in that on that train? Sean, what do you
No,
think? No? You like the weather
not
games, the snow games, all that
yeah,
stuff?
because they don't happen as often as people think. So like the extra variability of like the weather is just part of the breaks of football. And it's part of the breaks of any sport. Like we talked about last year when the rain happened in the Yankee Stadium and Logan Gilbert had to go out and then it was bad after the rain delay. I mean, It's part of baseball. I don't necessarily like it when it happens to my team, but that's whether it's part of the planet we live on. I don't know if I don't want every team to have a dome. Now, if I just I heard somebody talking about this as well. Like the Chicago is building a dome, and I think that's like the disgrace to football. Like
Really?
Chicago is like the cold weather, the snow, they're the defense, the 86, 80, 85 Bears, like that's what you think of. You think of cold, like the Packers built a dome. Would you think that's okay? The frozen tundra is not frozen tundra anymore. Like that's part of like who they are innately as a franchise. Like, I mean, I get why the Bills are building a sort of roof because you have Josh Allen. You should probably let him throw the ball as much as possible. But like, it also football's adaptability. If you can't, if you're a one trick pony, are you really the best team? And I'll say this: the best team in the AFC all season was the New England Patriots. They were the better team than the Broncos during that year. The Broncos, I'll say this: the Broncos. It was very unfortunate that Bo Nix got hurt. The Broncos rolled sevens like 19 times in a row this year. They were incredibly lucky. They're probably the luckiest team in football all year. They were the fifth best team in the AFC this year, and that includes like that doesn't include Kansas City and Baltimore just forgetting how to play football. If those two are healthy, we're talking. Does the Denver even make the playoffs? Like legitimately having a conversation. Like it. So like that. My point to Denver fans was like, this was your shot. Like I think this was your shot to win a Super Bowl, and so for that reason, Bo Nix getting hurt really sucks. Like that was your you could really do something with this. But like I think that Stidham like did I watched the beginning that second drive he goes deep, he beats Christian Gonzalez. Of all the people to get beat on a play against Jared Stidham, it's Christian Gonzalez on like the second drive and gets burned real bad on a deep pass. But then after that, we just talked about what we showed. It's just like he's not him. And I'll say this: the weather really didn't happen until the fourth quarter. Like the snow came down in the fourth quarter. So like for 3 quarters, Stidham did one thing. And then, yeah, the weather got really bad in the fourth, but like Denver's a running team anyway, so shouldn't they been able to run the ball? Like that was their whole success all year. They weren't a passing team. They were built to run the ball. They were built for those snow. And yeah, Stidham obviously is not as good of a runner as Bo Nix, but like I think Kevin's point's probably true. Bo Nix probably does win them this game on his legs, but that is like, but it's hard to tell like how the New England
Makes
Patriots
the run
play it.
better.
What's up?
What makes the run better?
Quarterbacks
Play
running.
action.
I guess.
Play
What?
action. Play action makes the run better, and without play action, then they're just going to stack the box. That's
No,
why.
the what Denver's only good at running the ball because Bo Nix was good at running the ball. They were actually not a very good running team. Like Bo Nix was their running game basically this year.
Yeah, no, it just gets it honestly it will that be the same going forward? Probably not.
But like New England's good enough to beat Bo Nix, so I wonder how that game goes with a healthy Bo Nix. Like if the New England Patriots played that exact game and Bo Nix plays, then yeah, Bo Nix would beat them. But like, how do they play a fresh start from the game like with Bo Nix coming into it? I don't know. So because the New England Patriots are a good team. Their advanced metrics and their point differential, everything points to like they're the better team than the Broncos. But um, yeah, Denver's defense is legit. Like then Drake May, I am not impressed. We can get to this when we talk about New England Patriots versus the Seahawks, but I don't. They have played a ton of really good defenses in the playoffs, but like he has not also ingrained himself to like playoff football either at this point. And he plays in New England. He should be playing. Get used to play. If you want to play and win some Super Bowls in New England, you better play in the cold a little bit better than you are right now, because he is dropping that football a ton in the playoffs. So we'll get to that when we talk about the matchup, but I'll leave it at that.
Kevin,
And why
what
I was rooting for New England in this game.
Kevin, what did you think of domes? And do you agree with Sean's point that New England is the better team?
I don't think they should have be every team should have a dome, but I think every team should have at least a retractable roof.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
just
That would
because
essentially be kind of a dome, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
main
Well,
thing
it would
is
stop from like
to-
monsoons and things like that, but you can still let snow in, right?
well that and
But
also
if it's snowing, are you not closing the roof? I'm
I
sorry.
mean, to Kevin's point, it wasn't the snow; it was like the snow and the wind hitting them in the face. That it was the combo of the two things. Like
All
the
right.
snow is one thing, but like they were showing like he couldn't look in a certain direction because the wind and the snow were hitting you in the face that direction when you're facing that way.
I would prefer to have less of that just because one, the game always changes, and two, to Sean's point of the 85 Bears and things along that line, the 85 Bears weren't dealing with the same amount of global warming as what we're facing now. Like global warming is such a huge impact on like the state to where like you're gonna see it's gonna get even crazier. I mean, we saw a blizzard literally drop within 10 minutes. Like the amount of snow that was on the ground within 10 minutes was insane. Like to where like and also it's just player safety too on in a league that's trying to get more player safety oriented. I think that's kind of the route you kind of have to go is to where you at least have retractable roofs to where like kind of like what Arizona has and kind of like what Atlanta has to where like when it's nice out you can open it up, let the sun in, play that way, type of deal. And even for the the teams down south to where it's a blessing too when it's too hot in Arizona to where like where
I mean, that's why most of them have retractable roofs, not for the weather. It's for a lot for the cold. It's for the heat.
yeah.
Because that's more of a danger than the cold.
Yeah. So to where like based off whatever weather dynamics you have at least options to where
you can't get rid of snow games. You can't get rid of snow games entirely.
Unfortunately, if snow is like it was in 1985, then yeah, I would agree. But unfortunately, as we're seeing now in the U.S., where like literally Georgia is in snow, like the only team that deferred and got away with it was Florida, and even some parts of northern Florida are like in some crazy crap to where you're just unfortunately with nobody giving a crap about global warming and it just getting worse. You just kind of have to adapt the game, and the game is going to change that way, in my opinion, to where you'll just have to slowly kind of see it go that way.
Well, then Matthew will get his wish, and then it'll just be a running back football game.
But I mean, would it be sad? Yeah, I mean, yeah, but at the same time too, like, same with the baseball thing, do I like, rainouts? No, I hate it. I'd rather just watch teams play baseball.
Well, rainouts are different because you can't play during the rain, and like why teams don't build stadiums with rain in baseball because that just literally stops the game is stupid.
Yeah,
football you can play in the snow. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, for player safety purposes and stuff, like with them trying to get further because you don't want people slipping the ACLs and stuff.
That's more rain again. It's not really the snow game, and it's not. I think the biggest issue, Kevin, to this is.
And you can play baseball in the rain. It's probably not a good idea, but you could play baseball in the rain.
Yeah, that's a safety thing, and like there isn't more injuries with the snow. It just slows the game down, changes the game fundamentally. Is the question?
Yeah, but you can also still get hurt. We just haven't had those dynamics.
Yeah, but people get hurt playing regular football. Like that's part of it. Like
they're taking the measures at where the places that they can see, and that's a place that they can take measures at. Essentially, is what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. Snow doesn't increase injuries. It hasn't been shown to increase injuries. Like, well, I don't know where you're going with this. Snow's not going to fundamentally change what snow is here.
But that doesn't mean that it's not going to snow that nobody can get injured. Like that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But it doesn't increase them.
Right, but it can, though, is what I'm saying.
But it hasn't.
Right, but it doesn't mean it can. Just because lightning hasn't come down and struck your dick right now doesn't mean that it can't do that.
Yeah, but Kevin, like I'm not outside. But I'm saying is like you're solving for a problem that's not there. Like
but I'm saying
they played the snow for 80 years and it hasn't increased injuries. Like snow is fundamentally not going to change.
Yeah, but at the same time, too, like our records only go back so far. They're not looking at those advanced stats from 1979 or 1986. Like we're probably only looking back at the last 10 years, 15 years tops for injuries alone. That's your short record of stuff like that. Like
because like people would have concussions, wouldn't say anything back then. We don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Also, exactly. Sean, where are you getting this? That
where are the stats coming from too?
Yeah.
They came from the Athletic podcast because they talked about it today.
Or
yesterday's podcast.
Okay, well, I'll take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They could have just been pulling it out of their ass. Like
they're an official podcast. They're not lying about stats. And they were on favor of one of the guys was on favor of doing it. The other guy was
like because most Americans know
that
other Americans are too lazy to fact check shit. a lot of the time. Most of the time, people are just gonna like. I would not be surprised if they slightly fibbed or did something along that
Like
line.
Sean, just objectively looking at it, do you not think that if you play in snow, you are more likely to get injured
No,
than
because
if
the
you
game
just play
slows
in
down.
neutral conditions?
No, because the game
It's
slows down.
wet. It's snow and rain wet.
I mean, I'm with Kevin. I think
You're
if
gonna
you
slip.
add weather as an element, there is a
Yeah,
greater
ice
likelihood
and
that you're going to get
snow.
hurt. I
Literally, yeah.
I'm not saying
It's
it's like a
physics.
huge amount, but there's a greater likelihood.
Yeah. But like this podcast is not there. If they even have data, it's probably at 5 years at most, and it's probably not taking all the dynamics and like what's been reported. Because like let's say like their second tight end on the Browns in 2021 like injured his knee, are they going to report that and put that on a stat line? No, they're not. Like
But you're
no
nitpicking and
website.
trying to fit your narrative by that.
But no, there's just no. What I'm saying is because I know there's most likely a higher probability that there's no website or database that's keeping track of that type of stuff. Like it's just, they're just not going to report it essentially to where like the NFL's like, well, we got to keep track of this data to make sure that John Shanahan over here, who's the second running back of the Browns and 2017, tore his ACL because he slipped on some ice in the Philly in week 16 type of deal. So that's where it's just saying like based off of it's just common sense dynamics of why you put in the future of global warming getting worse
And
and ice and water, rain, all of that is just bad.
ice is different than snow, though.
Yeah, but at the same time too, snow can turn into that because of it being crushed down and
Well, I
frozen
did.
during
I
temperatures.
made the distinction of snow versus rain, and then
Yeah,
ice and all that stuff. Snow games are different.
but you can
There was
still
no ice
slide
there
in
yesterday.
snow.
There
You
was no
can
ice there
still
yesterday.
slide, right? But you can also slip and slide in cold snow. Like it's the same thing. It can slosh just like
I
you can
mean,
rain.
I understand, but people aren't cutting like that in the snow because you can't. You'll fall.
Yeah, but I'm saying you just like it can happen. Anywho, so like I said, essentially, I would like to see them just eliminate that frequently just for player safety and just it just makes for better entertainment versus like who wants to what like
It does make
nobody
for better
played that game.
entertainment.
What's up?
It does make for better entertainment. I mean, the game is just like everyone
Certainly, yeah.
running.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
everybody
definitely.
just said that the AFC Championship was boring as shit in the second half, and it was because
I think it's
nobody.
gonna be boring because both these teams are boring. Also, like they're boring teams.
Honestly, I think it would have been a one if Bo Nix plays, and plus they both had just really good defenses too, so it's going to be more of a defensive game. But like I think it's a better game if there's one if Bo Nix plays, and two there's just not crazy snow like that just makes everything a crap show. Like I don't want to see a guy try to run up field and then only get 1 yard and then just be like nobody wants to see that. Like people want to see people want to see that Patrick Mahomes like throwing a ball downfield for 30 yards across his fucking chest. That's what people want to see nowadays. That's what entertains the NFL.
Well,
And
so
Yeah.
so let me ask you this then, Sean. Let's say the Super Bowl is rainy. Is that an advantage for the Seahawks? Is that an advantage for the Patriots? Does it make a difference? The Seahawks
Um,
are in a rain environment all the time, whereas the New England, I don't actually know the weather, so I can't speak for
I
them.
guess it
But
depends on like what do you mean by rain? Like a drizzle or is like dumping?
like a go in between, a normal rain. It's not huge drops, but it's not like a sprinkle. It's not a mister. It's
It
solid rain.
probably favors the Patriots then because the Seahawks have a more dynamic offense.
Okay, interesting. Um,
opposite, just because Drake May doesn't know how to throw in the rain. But
Well, they're not throwing; they would be running it, and that would take away
well, I
Seattle's
mean,
advantage.
you also can still throw it in the like Sam Darnold knows how to throw it more in the rain.
But if it's
Versus,
if it's really raining, it's still going to be harder to throw it and catch it
yeah,
than if it's not raining, and that would then hurt Seattle more than it would hurt New England. So it would help New England more.
but I think our running game's better though.
Um, Probably, but their pass game would take less of a hit, and that's where most of the value from football comes. If your pass game gets worse by a larger amount, then
Mhm.
and
all
then
right.
we could get into why I think Seattle's going to win because it will clearly advantage the
Well,
Seahawks because
we'll save that for next week, but the week before the game starts. But let's talk something that is going to make Sean sad. Now, Sean, it is Mike versus Mike All the Seans have been eliminated. How sad are
I
you
didn't
right
even
now?
realize that. I didn't even realize it was Mike versus
McDermott,
Mike and Sean versus
Peyton,
Sean.
and McVay. Are you sad
I
as a
guess I
Sean?
wanted Mike versus Mike. I wanted both Seans to lose. So,
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I just wanted to make sure that you were okay with your Sean brethren, not making it all the way.
oh
At
yeah, you
least
can't
one
get me to root
Sean,
for Sean Payton.
Yeah.
You couldn't get me to root for Sean Payton.
And then I got
And because we matched up better against New England, so that was also like
I got one
why.
thing. So I was in Vegas in July, put some bets down. I cashed my NFC West championship. Um, Grandma put $5 down on the Seahawks over 8.5. That was a pretty good bet. The other bet that she placed, which she forgot about until I called her yesterday, Sean, she placed $5 on the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl. So one more win away, and Grandma cashes in a nice little $300 ticket there. So uh, apparently, Grandma knew that the Seahawks might be this good. So kudos to Grandma for having that intuition of 70 plus years of experience and knowing what to expect from this team. So well done there. Sean mentioned some of these storylines. I've got a story up here. We'll do more of a preview next week on a little bit of a shorter episode, but I'm gonna throw it to Kevin first. What matchup are initially are you looking at when this game starts, Kevin? Is it wide receivers versus Patriots secondary? Is it Drake May versus like what matchup are you going to be most interested to watch when this game starts?
I'd say it's two. I'd say it's JSN versus Christian Gonzalez. That's essentially what you got to report. And I would say it is Kenneth Walker versus the number one run stopping defense, which is the Patriots. And can they in that O line can they develop a run, like any form of run game? That's essentially kind of that's going to be most important because I honestly I think our defense is good enough to shut this down. I think we're going to get more pressure because the O line for the Patriots is like our O line and it's just man. Versus like the Rams have probably the best guard duo tandem in the league, and their center is pretty solid too. They have kind of the opposite problem of us. They have a really good interior part of the O line versus their tackles are kind of like, uh, you know. Um, Even though, like I said, Zabel is good. He's just a rookie, and he's gonna, and he had a good rookie year. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I think Zabel in 2 to 3 years is going to be better. Versus Dotson and Avila are really good. Um, versus Patriots O line is not as good. Where I think we're going to get more pressure and be on Drake May more, and the receivers, although better than what I think they're better than what are given credit for. Because they're just not household names. I think you have I'm not saying they're like the Seahawks receiver group of 2013, but like I think they're a lot better than people get credit for because they're just not household names, and people just need to stop that whole like, oh, I don't know who they are, so they're obviously not good, like type of deal. Like that, you just got to get over that shit. That's just 1990s thinking. It just needs to get out. Um, like they're NFL receivers and they can ball out at any time. Like nobody thought Chris Matthews was going to be a possible Super Bowl MVP who would have been Super had we won. Like Chris Matthews was our fifth receiver and he like took a crap on Bill Belichick's system. Like it's if you're in the NFL, you're there for a reason that coaches saw you essentially. Not to say that everybody in the NFL is really, really good, but like there's enough talent on this team on the Patriots to where like we do have to pay respect to them. Do I think they're going to go ape crap on us? No, I think we're going to shut them down. Um, I don't think we're going to completely do it like what we did against the 49ers. I think they'll still get points on us, but like I still think we're pretty favored just because this defense is really good and we're fairly healthy unless some crazy happens. As I just did now. But yeah, overall, those are the two main matchups I think you have to kind of look out for.
Sean, what matchup are you looking at?
I think it comes down to one, and it's the opposite side of football. It's can they run the football against us like the Rams did? Because if they cannot, and the highest EPA per play offense was New England Patriots this year. That's for a couple reasons. I did see this funny stat where if you look at their opponents played, obviously opponents played, this might be the worst opponents run of all time. I think I saw, I'll have to share with you guys in it, but it's like shows by week their head coach, and it's like fired, 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 Jets or like Bengals fired, 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 fired. It's just like it's crazy that basically like 80% of the coaches that they coached against or 85 were fired. So it was just an awful, awful stretch. So EPA doesn't tell you like DOVA where it doesn't. So DOVA like has a much, 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 much lower. Like they're an average passing game. And so my question is, if they cannot run the football against this team and they're in long situations, me and Kevin talked about this. That O line is a mess. They're a dumpster fire still. I don't want to say that Jack Campbell's a bust already, but he is getting eaten alive all season and in the playoffs especially. The problem with Seattle against the Rams was the Rams had a good O line and a good system and ready to go. We didn't have any elite guys that could beat that, but we had some guys that are really good across the board, but no elite guys. The problem was they don't have any good offensive linemen across the board. So our good D linemen are going to kill Drake May if they have to drop back and throw it a bunch. So if they cannot run the football, this D line is going to do what they did to Brock Purdy, and it's going to get ugly fast. So I think that's the biggest matchup. If we can stuff Stevens and even stop Drake May and keep it into like second and third and longs, this defensive line is going to kill their offensive line, and they better hope that they don't. Because we talked about Drake May has turned it over how many times already this postseason? Like he didn't turn over last week because he had 80 yards of total offense. Like it's just they're that's how they're going to lose this game. I think yeah, Kevin on the other side, but I just don't. I think how this is going to go is that's the case. There's going to be turnovers, and then it won't even matter who's covering who because we're going to have the ball in their territory a couple times because Drake May is going to give it to us in New England territory because they're going to Lawrence and these guys are going to be coming off the end up the gut because they're going to be in 3rd and 8, 2nd and 9 the entire time, and they just won't be able to stop this D line and Mike McDonald. I think that's going to be the biggest one. So they better run the football.
I think to not copy either of you, I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker against the front seven of the New England Patriots. Obviously, the
Isn't that
offensive
what Kevin
line of
said?
Seattle is going to play a big factor in how well Kenneth Walker runs. But if Kenneth Walker has one-on-one against their linebacker, like I think he wins those matchups more often than not. So obviously the blocking scheme is going to be important, but if Kenneth Walker can find space and beat these linebackers through the gaps and make sure that he can get to the second level, he doesn't have to do like ungodly efficiency. But I think if he did pretty much exactly what he did against the Rams, like he wasn't efficient, but he was good on a lot of different runs. I think that's going to be a big factor to keep the pressure off Sam Darnold. Not that Sam Darnold wasn't able to do it on 3rd and long or anything like that, but I think keeping it at like 3rd and 5, if it does get to that, or 3rd and 7, is going to be important to keep this offense in rhythm in Clint Kubiak's system. So I think that's going to be a big thing to see if they really try and key in on Kenneth Walker and make Sam Darnold beat him, like Sean mentioned that McVay tried to do, or if they cannot stop Kenneth Walker and we just ram it down their throats for 60 odd minutes. So
I like how you didn't want to copy anybody and then you immediately copied Kevin.
wait, didn't he say
Kevin said that.
I said
No,
two things. I said JSN versus Chris Gonzalez, and then Kenneth Walker versus the number one run stopping
Yeah,
defense.
yeah.
Oh, I thought you said the other side.
Yeah.
You could tell while I was listening on that one, didn't you?
Copied him.
I
It's
did
all
copy
good.
him. Okay, well,
All
never
good.
mind. Never mind. All right. Well, I copied Kevin, and we're on the same page here. Let us know what you think the most important matchup is. Go ahead and blue sky us. I'm at Master Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is Emerald Bowler on Blue Sky. On X, Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is C to believe, SEA to believe on X. Subscribe to us, like this video, tell us what you think of the topics we talk about in the comments below. We'll be back next week for a preview of the Super Bowl. We'll talk maybe where we're watching the Super Bowl. I haven't really figured that part out yet. I've been invited to a couple Super Bowl parties. Not sure if I'm going to go to any of them because I don't know about you guys, but I may be a little stitious like Michael Scott. And I have worn since the game where the NFC West was on the line, I've worn the same pajamas, the same shorts, the same socks, the same shirt, and the same jersey. And it's worked. So I don't feel like I can go away from it at this point. And if I happen to go to a Super Bowl party and wear different clothing and they lose, I don't know if I could live with myself. And I I don't know about you guys also, but I have seen the 2015 clip like 4 times already on my social media feed. And I know that's going to keep coming because that's what the storyline will be and continue to be until the game. So I'm looking forward to hopefully never seeing that clip ever again, although I know that's not possible. Uh, Sean, Kevin, you guys watched the game on Sunday, the NFC Championship. Who was rooting harder? Sean, were the kids into it? Like, was Nolan a big fan, or what happened there?
No, they're just running around. Yeah. No, they don't really watch.
Do they have good form tackles when they're tackling each other?
No, and it's just screaming. Yeah, so no.
Mhm.
No, unfortunately.
I did buy a lotto ticket because his son didn't smash my feet. So, but
And
no, I was gonna say it's interesting because my girlfriend is a Patriots fan, so it's been shit talk all week so far. So,
oh wow, did
yeah,
you know that before you got into it, or
I knew shortly after.
okay? Well,
I know. Pray for me.
I don't know if you can bring her to any Super Bowl parties, Kevin, because that would be real awkward. It feels like, but
Oh,
we'll see.
she's been there to one. She went to a party during Super Bowl 49 where she was the only Pats fan there, and the rest were Seahawks, and she said it was awkwardly fun. I was like,
Uh,
oh, that sucks.
uh, Sean, do you remember where we were for Super Bowl 49?
Well, me and Sean were at Scotty's.
So was
Yeah.
I.
Oh, you were? Oh, that's right.
I
You
was
were
there,
there.
yeah, yeah.
About that.
And then I sadly ordered Five Guys, and me and the like guy that gave me my order, we both like looked at each other kind of teary-eyed, and we're like, yeah. Then I walked out. I'll never forget that. That was brutal. That was brutal. Um, all right. And then Grandma said that one person had to leave because they were so nervous, they had to step outside. Who was that? Was that is that a Grandma misreport?
I don't think anybody did
Okay. All right.
that.
Fair
Yeah.
The
enough.
only person I can think of would be Rachel because she
No,
did
she
the NFC
no.
Championship, but I don't remember who actually.
Hmm. All right. Well, probably just Grandma's memory going away here. So, all right. Well, we will be back next week with a preview of the Super Bowl. We'll talk a little bit more about some of these matchups. We'll get an updated injury report, see who's most likely in, who's most likely out, and we'll make some predictions. So, with that, we will see you next time on Washington, East to West Sports. Bring back our Sonics.